I think today is the first day since last Tuesday that I feel like I would even physically be able to birth a baby, let alone take care of one. Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Megan and I am documenting the end of my second and final pregnancy. I don't know if you can hear, but you probably can. I am terribly sick. I came down with this cold 8 days ago, and it's been like the worst cold I've had in a very long time. I will talk about it in my update, but it's been pretty miserable the past week, and I'm extremely grateful to my body that it has, you know, held it together and that I haven't given birth yet, because I think today is the first day since last Tuesday that I feel like I would even physically be able to birth a baby, let alone take care of one. So it's been a very rough week, and I've been extremely humbled by this experience. But anyway, I did not want to lose the opportunity to film a 39-week update, so I am here to do that today. In terms of this cold, I guess I should just start out with talking about it. I ended up in the hospital a couple times with it to get breathing treatments. It really isn't like anything other than a bad cold. I tested negative for strep and everything. I have high levels of infectious whatever in my bloods that they took, but it wasn't anything that warranted admitting me. The reason this cold escalated to that level was because my lungs were really compromised by it, and with the pressure of the baby, I wasn't able to clear the fluid out of my lungs, and so I wasn't able to breathe. And not only that, but my entire upper abdominal wall, like this part right here, is completely shot. So every time I cough, it literally feels like my ribs are breaking and my muscles are tearing apart every single time I cough. And it was so bad that I was begging them to like knock me out or give me nitrous oxide or give me something to take this pain away and to just completely knock me out for a couple days, because I could not bear to be alive. I couldn't breathe at all. Like, breathing was horrible. Every breath I was having to consciously exhale so that it wouldn't cause me to spasm cough, because I have all this fluid in my lungs. And so obviously my body, like, I can't fight the urge, you know, to cough and to get it out. But between not being able to create enough force to cough because I've got this watermelon in my belly and my abdominal muscles being in such excruciating pain, I just couldn't. I couldn't get it up. It just, breathing was not happening for me, and it was very, very scary. It was very scary, and it was not the way I expected to end my pregnancy, and it really rocked me. And the momentum I had going into this stage in my pregnancy, I was so looking forward to these weeks to enjoy Christmas and to spend time with my family and my toddler, and to just love being this pregnant and enjoy it. You know, I was gonna go swimming, I was gonna take myself for a massage, I was gonna go for some long walks. I had just this beautiful end of pregnancy vision, and I've spent the whole thing sleeping and dying. I've been sleeping 18 hours a day, sometimes more. And, you know, I've missed Christmas, both Christmases, Swedish Christmas, American Christmas. Like, it's been a mess. But anyway, so that's the cold front. I have finally gotten my cough under control. My abs are a wreck, but the cough is under control. I know my muscles will heal in the next couple days. I sound like crap and I still have a cold, but I'm not, you know, it's just symptoms now. Anyway, into symptoms, I have had some pretty bad bouts of heartburn. I've been taking 3 to 4 Gaviscon multiple times a day. Like, it's not just when I'm sleeping It's not just after I've eaten, it's just all day. I have such bad heartburn. But on top of that, I'm also experiencing a ton of pressure down there, especially when I squat or I sit down to use the bathroom. Like, sitting down to use the bathroom has been a not fun experience for at least the past 20 weeks. But particularly now, I have so much pressure down there. And it's sort of gotten to that point now where I feel like I really have to pee, and then I sit down to go, and I'm lucky if I get out 5 milliliters, maybe 10 if I'm lucky. Like, nothing comes out. So I know it's not a UTI, it is just pressure. My bump sinks really low, especially toward the end of the day, and then it pops back up. So like, baby is not engaged or anything. When I was at the hospital, they did a heart rate strip on the baby, and everything looked fine. His heart rate was fine. They did confirm he is head down, and they said his head is like, it's not fixed, but it's low, but there's still a little bit of room. And he had finally gone back to a really good position where his body is along my left side and his kicks are over here toward the back of my right side. So that was really good. But like, he's filling up the entire, like my entire torso. Like, he's low and putting pressure, but he's also like high and I'm getting horrible heartburn. So it's sort of like the worst of both worlds. But I have been able to breathe a lot better. Like, thank God I haven't had any like pregnancy shortness of breath while I've been healing with this cold, so at least I have that going for me. I've been very, very thirsty. I've been super fatigued. I don't have much of an appetite. You know, it's kind of just more of the same of what I've been going through lately. I haven't felt any nasty urges, but we have loaded my hospital bags into the car now. So they're in there, and I have created a list of last minute things to not forget to do when I do go into labor, such as to remember my headphones, for my husband to remember his iPad, you know, just luxuries that we might want to have on hand, depending on how all this goes. Weight gain. So just as a total like snapshot of weight gain, I started my pregnancy out, I'm 5'9", which is 175 centimeters. I started out at 66.6 kilograms, which translates to 146.5 pounds. And I am now currently 78 kilograms, which is 172 pounds. So as of 39 plus 0, which was 2 days ago, I am up a total of 11.4 kilograms, which is 25 pounds, right on the mark. And I think they say that the normal range for like a normal, like average weight person is to expect to gain anywhere from 25 to 35 pounds. So I'm at the end of pregnancy and I've gained 25 pounds. I am totally okay with that, especially considering the fact that I have not worked out now in almost a month, because first it was work and now it's illness. And particularly while I was sick, I was basically only just eating the only things that sounded good to me, which were like pizza and McDonald's. And when I say I ate that, I say maybe 3 times in the past week I've eaten that. It hasn't been a lot. I've mostly just been on a fluid diet because I've been sleeping almost all day long. But I've also been like packing down the chocolate too, like anything comfort food to make me feel like I could survive this cold. That's what's been going down the hatch. So I'm really surprised that I haven't gained more. I actually lost a half a kilogram this week compared to when I was 38 weeks. So it's probably just the cold. But I do know I'm hydrated well. With my daughter, I started out at 64 kilograms and I gave birth at 40 plus 0, weighing 79.5, which was a gain of 15.5 kilograms, which is like 34 or 35 pounds. So still within the normal range, but still like 10 pounds heavier than I am now. So I'm happy. It's all within a normal range. It all comes off so, you know, like within a year or less. Sorry if this video is choppy. I keep getting interrupted. Like throughout this entire video, everyone is calling me. Anyway, Where was I? So, I can say as of right now, I still don't have any stretch marks. Probably wouldn't have cared if I got them. I expected to get them with my daughter and I never did. My mom got stretch marks with all of her pregnancies. And I also got stretch marks during puberty. So I know it's like a hormonal thing. And so I just expected to get them. And I don't fear them at all. I got stretch marks on my hips and my boobs during during puberty. And you literally cannot see them. You really would have to like get up into my skin and almost like flatten the skin out to even see them. They are like silvery skin colored. You can't see them at all. So I just assumed I was going to get them in pregnancy and then they'd fade and everything would be fine. But it hasn't turned out to be that way. I have not gotten them anywhere in either of my pregnancies. But I do know that it's common to get them like after you've given birth. So we'll see. Maybe I'll get them, maybe I won't. Movement. The baby has had his days of being a crazy kicker. The last day or two he's been on the quiet side. Today I would say it's sort of uncomfortably quiet. I have felt him move around a little bit, but I'm sort of borderline not okay with how little he's been moving. So once I'm done with this video, I'm going to drink like a cold glass of milk and lay down and see if he wakens up. But I do have my 39-week midwife appointment tomorrow. So I know that they can check him out then. And I also just had a strip done at the hospital on Monday, which was 2 days ago, and everything looked fine. So I'm just hoping he's having some quieter days, especially after being super hyperactive while I was sick. He did not like when I was coughing. He was not happy about it. He was thrashing around in there. So maybe he's just resting. Cravings. I don't really have any cravings this pregnancy still. I did have a moment this morning where I would have really killed to have an Eggo waffle. They don't have freezer or toaster waffles here in Sweden, like anywhere. So maybe it's just more of a comfort food thing that I'm craving, but I would have really loved to have had a box of frozen waffles that I could just pop into the toaster and lather up with butter and syrup. Oh, have a giant glass of orange juice with it. That would have been so good. Maybe that's why I haven't gained much weight during my pregnancies, is because I live in a foreign country on the countryside. We have no options anywhere. I am certain that if I was still living in LA, I would have gained so much weight in my pregnancies because I would be eating out everywhere. I would be indulging on all the foods that I love, like mac and cheese and my mom's cooking. Oh my goodness, wouldn't that be great? I'm looking in the video. Look at what the nurse did to my vein. I have only one good vein in my body. This is the only vein that anyone can get into whenever I need blood draws or like IVs put in. Otherwise, they have to put them in my hands. And I don't know what she did, man, but she wrecked my vein. So hopefully I don't need anything intravenous when I go into labor because this thing is going to take a while to heal. Anyway, last thing to talk about is labor signs. I have been binging like end of pregnancy weekly update videos on YouTube just to see how everyone's pregnancies ended, like what signs and symptoms and things they were feeling and when did they actually finally deliver and how did it all go. I have no idea how cervically dilated or effaced I am because they don't do those checks here. Part of me is sort of curious to ask my midwife to do it when I go in tomorrow, just because I'm purely curious. But let's see, not last night, but the night before, I did have an episode where for the first time in this pregnancy, I genuinely thought that labor had begun. I have not lost any of my mucus plug. I have not had a bloody show. My bump hasn't like dropped and stayed dropped, but I know usually like with subsequent pregnancies that doesn't really happen. I haven't felt nesty. Kind of got that all out of my system already though. I don't know what else are the other symptoms of like people thinking that pregnancy is on its way or delivery is on its way. But the one thing that did happen 2 nights ago was I ended up having timeable contractions. And these were much different than the menstrual cramps and the Braxton Hicks I've been experiencing before. The Braxton Hicks that I've been having are super, super powerful now. I need to sort of bend over, breathe through them, and brace myself, but they're not painful. They're just really, really tight and a lot of pressure down below. And then the menstrual cramps I've been getting on and off are not timeable. They're not consistent. There's no pattern to them. And they're just like cramps, you know? Like there's no tightening associated with it. It almost feels like a very, very mild case of diarrhea, you know? Like where you feel crampy, you know? Or like menstrual cramps. But this time, 2 nights ago, it was both together. The contraction, like the actual, like Braxton Hicks type tightening, was not nearly as strong as the actual Braxton Hicks I've been having, but it was there. And I did feel the pressure, and I felt the menstrual cramp in conjunction. But it was mostly just the bottom of my uterus, my back, and all along my pelvic floor that I felt that pressure and the cramping. I didn't feel it anywhere really toward the top, but it was timeable. It was anywhere from 7.5 to 10.5 minutes apart, and they all lasted more or less a full minute. Some were like 50 seconds, some were like a minute and 10 seconds. It all averaged out. This went on for about 3 hours, and it was, it started around midnight, and then it got to be about 3 a.m., and I turned to my husband, and I'm like, you know, I'm just too sick and I'm too tired to have a baby right now. I just cannot have a baby right now. Maybe if I had gotten up and moved around and did some squats and really encouraged the contractions to keep going, maybe they would have, and maybe I would have had a Christmas baby. Who knows? But I decided to go back to sleep because I figure if this is the real thing, nothing is going to stop it. And if it's not the real thing, I don't want to encourage it to keep going, because ain't nobody ready to have a baby up in here. And I really, really, really need my sleep. And I can't be having a baby this sick, especially with my muscles being so fatigued and in pain. So I just went back to sleep. And I woke up the next morning and I still had a baby in my belly. But all day Christmas, I had irregular contractions, the cramping and the compression, but nothing ever became timeable. And then I slept through the night last night, more or less. And now today I feel normal. I'm having normal amounts of Braxton Hicks, nothing too crazy, and no cramps. So my goal, I really, really, really want to make it to my due date. I had the same goal with my daughter. I feel like it's such a special achievement to say you made it that far. I had a goal with my daughter that if I made it to 40 weeks, I was going to have my husband go with me to the gym and we were going to run a 2K on the treadmill just to say that we did it. Just to say that I did it. But I ended up going into labor the morning of her due date and we never were able to. But I got my husband to agree that if I'm feeling well enough, that on Monday, when I reach my due date, New Year's Eve, if I reach my due date, we can go to the gym and try to run a 2K and see if that'll get things going and stuff. But anyway, ideally, you guys, I so badly want to have my baby on Tuesday of next week at 40+1. I want him to be a January 1st, New Year's Day baby. Oh my God, I've wanted that since the second I found out I was pregnant. I think that'd be such a cool day to give birth, such a cool thing to celebrate every year. I think that it would be an awesome birthday to have when my baby gets older, like fireworks going off everywhere, and you know, there's always going to be a party, and you know, it's I just think it would be such a cool birthday. So I'm not doing anything right now to actively encourage labor to begin. I feel like it's a little too soon and I'm still a little too sick. But on maybe Friday or Saturday, maybe Saturday, I think I'm going to start taking evening primrose oil orally and start to walk a little bit more. And then once we get to Monday, my due date, if things are still holding on, I want to do that run on the treadmill, and I'm going to start doing a lot of exercises. I'm going to put myself on like a labor circuit. I'm going to be doing squats. I'm probably going to start inserting evening primrose oil vaginally and see if I can kind of start encouraging things to happen with the hopes that maybe baby would want to come on New Year's Day. But I'm not going to do anything like castor oil, or, you know, maybe I'll eat some of the spicy foods or pineapple or whatever. But if he doesn't decide to come on either of those days, then I'm just going to stop doing those things and just let him come on his own time. But that is it as far as my update. Like I said, I'm 39 plus 2 today. So my next video, I'm probably going to film this weekend just so that I can have a 40-week update. Because I don't want to wait too long, you know? So stay tuned for that. Otherwise, if you guys want to check out my Instagram page, I'll put a link to that in the description box below. I do more frequent updates there, so you'll probably know what's up there before you'll ever hear what's up here on YouTube. So thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you're interested in hanging around and seeing how this show ends. Otherwise, I'll just see you all some other time, okay? Bye!